want freedom, you've got to plan for freedom. You want freedom, you have to do the things that free people do. In Swahili, there's a term that says uhuru ni kazi. In English, that means independence is work. Meaning, you cannot be independent if you cannot finance your independence. You cannot build around your independence. You cannot provide for your independence. You cannot create in order to be independent. A simulator is a very clear analogy of what must happen. There is a training that takes place before you execute. That's why planning is so important. That's why training is so important. That's why teaching is so important, because all of those things are precepts to the development and the execution of the plan to ensure that you land where you are supposed to land, when you are supposed to land, and the way you are supposed to land. And we live in a community that has not had very good flight planning, not have very good training on cockpit instrumentation reading, not had very good understanding of how your thoughts, your language, your actions, and your pictures shape what you are reading in that cockpit. And that's why many times our community crashes. That's why it comes in wrong place, wrong location, and the wrong time. So it's very important for us to be able to realize that the significance lies in our ability to understand we've got things to do in order to get ourselves and our community where we need to go, when we need to go, and the way we need to go. Over to you, Ed Bright. I'd like to thank you for tuning in today for this morning inspirational message, because landing on the runway, meaning hitting that target in your life that will give you what you need to have, is so determined by how well you understand your thoughts. What shapes your thoughts? Because the things that shape your thoughts will dictate the impact that your thoughts have on the decisions you make. The things that shape your thoughts will determine how you respond to stimuli. The things that shape your thoughts will determine what you will ultimately decide to do. And many people, if you are not developing your thoughts, then you become a victim of thoughts that you've developed from somebody else creating stimuli to get you to react. You are then a mannequin, you are a marionette to somebody else's intent and purpose, because you have not mined your mind. And it's very important, and thoughts are stage one in doing that. Language is very important. Controlling your language shapes your perception of reality. Many times we don't control our language. We don't know the significance of controlling language. So we get our culture impressed. We get our culture invaded. We get our values undermined. We get our perception of who we are diluted, because language is created to undermine, diminish, degrade who we are based on what we say. So controlling language has a very powerful thing. In the cultures of African people, there were words to describe the culture. And as a result of words to describe the culture, we knew the path of our development, our morals, our spirituality, our ethics, our principles was shaped by the culture that was illustrated by the language. But when you don't control a language, when you are using a language that is not your language, when the language you are using does not reflect the culture you come from, you are victims of being culturally shaped, many times abnormally, as a result of being a victim of somebody else's language. So you get inculcated in your language ways of living, principles, ethics, values, mores that are not yours, that you did not decide, that you did not determine, that you did not reflect on to see if they're compatible with who you are culturally. When you get a word like transvestite, there's no word in any African language called transvestite. Why? Because transvestites don't live in African people and in African culture at their core. If they exist now, it's because of the invasion of other cultures that have impressed their culture on African people. So when you control the language, you control the culture. When you control the culture, you control the values. When you control the values and the culture, you begin to do things that reflect who you are, what you are, and how you are. We thank you for calling into our morning inspirational message today, because it's a message that can really help us develop our power, our ability, our capacity, our direction, and most importantly, our purpose. We'd like you to call a friend or a family member and view this YouTube, and now analyze this YouTube. Look at it, assess it, discuss it, and begin to measure the words, the conversation, the dialogue, and see what kind of thoughts that you redevelop. See, once you develop your thoughts through new ideas, then the individual will remake the environment. And often the individual doesn't remake the environment because they don't have new thoughts. The beauty of this medium is you can revisit it at any time. You can begin to look at it as your leisure, as your time and your schedule allows you to begin to evaluate what you see, what you think, what you believe, what you feel, how you see what happens around you, and then you can begin to put together the prescription to correct those things so that they become in alignment with your feelings, your spirit, and your values. Take a moment to log into our YouTube channel. Leave a question, leave a comment, leave a concern. Express your views and opinions of what you have heard. Express the views and opinions of the discussions you have created. Cultivate the mastermind groups for transformation, because be ye transformed by the renewal of your spirit. So begin to have the thoughts and the language that will produce that renewed spirit from new dialogue. We look forward to bringing you this message of optimism, because we can be, we can do, we can become, we can create all the things that our spirit tells us who we are. This message of positive expectations. How do you see yourself? How do you see your community? How do you see your family? How do you see the capacity of your people lifting themselves? What are the positive expectations that exist in you so that you lift yourself, and as a result you develop the strength through prosperity to lift so many others? Optimism, positive expectation, growth will be a byproduct of your learning, of your asking questions, of your expanded thought, of your new desires, of your commitment to create. Growth will begin to expand. Why? Because he who draws the diameter of your knowledge determines the circumference of your total experience. And as you continue to think broader, feel broader, create broader, speak broader, commit broader, you will begin to expand the diameter of your knowledge, and therefore your circumference will begin to get greater and greater, giving you a capacity to do more and more through your optimism, your positive expectation, your growth, and the prosperity that will begin to come to you, because the parameters are now expanded by your increased commitment to your thoughts and your language. Have a great and fantastic day, and go out and make your life free, happy, fulfilled, and effervescent, and touch the lives of those around you. Transform them, heal them, help them, show them the way. Though they may not know the way, be a light in the tunnel to show them the way. Help restore their pride. Be their holy guide. Show them the way. Direct them in love. Direct them in sensitivity. Direct them in warmth. Direct them in commitment for healing. See yourself in them and lift them up as you lift yourself. This is your friend and your brother, Brother Tambuzi, saying, have a great day, and we'll see you next time.